Hello friends, and enemies. I feel like I've covered a lot of ground with the Atticus Doom Mezco release before. We've got standard Atticus Doom, we had the Atticus Doom, I forget what it was called, but it was like an expansion pack. And now we've got the Atticus Doom Necroverse edition. So this is a new release from Mezco Toyz, basically just a variant on Atticus Doom. Atticus Doom, of course, being this little fella here, one of the releases from Mezco's Rumble Society. And he's a really fun figure with a lot of really neat accessories and a cool backstory. I'm a sucker for characters who dabble in the occult and ruin their lives because of it. A really nice green and black color scheme because, as when we open this figure we'll find out, he's green and black. Always really like the artwork that Mezco puts on their boxes. You've also got this juxtaposition between regular Atticus Doom with the skull face, and then there is the shadow of the Cthulhu head in the background. And on the back you've got the opposite with the Cthulhu head and then the skull head. Not for children under 3 years old. If you give this to a child under 3 years old, then you'll become a tentacle monster, but not in a fun way. Opening this up, and I guess I should have expected this, but there's a lot of stuff here. There's usually a lot of stuff with Mezco releases, but I guess since this is a variant, I wasn't expecting as much. This fell out of the package. It's like a, I think it's supposed to be a statue, like how, you know, in the story of Cthulhu, there's a Cthulhu statue. This is maybe supposed to be an homage to that. And there's a lot of clamshells. With Mezco, there's always a lot of clamshells. And so far, it looks like we're getting a lot of repeats of what we already got in the standard Atticus Doom release and the, God, what was it called? Not an expansion pack, because that's like a video game thing. You know, the extra accessory set. I could look it up, I'm just lazy. I think we've also got some new pieces, and of course, unlike the expansion pack, which is green, but doesn't glow in the dark, all this stuff is green and glows in the dark. So whereas the vanilla Atticus Doom comes with a cool trench coat, this one comes with like a cool overcoat type thing. I guess that's what you would call this. I don't know, I'm not a fashion expert. Mezco really kills it in the soft goods game. Oh, I love his outfit so much. So in this one he had like a vest and ascot, and this one he's rocking a vest still, but it's green with this really cool eyeball pattern and a cute little green tie. And that is all overlaid over a black undershirt. Very stylish, this guy. I mean, I feel like if you are regularly communing with demons and stuff, you gotta be stylish. Demons don't like to be frumpy, okay? Demons are always very well dressed. They love fashion. So as cool as this coat is, let's take it off so we can get a better look at what his deal is here. You don't have to, but I like to take off the hands just so it's a little easier to slip the coat off. Once you rupture a hem on one of these small soft good items, good luck fixing it. It can be fixed, but unless you are good at sewing and have patience and tiny little hands, it might be difficult. So rolling up the sleeves here, you also get a look at his arms. They are translucent green. The rest of him is just black plastic, I believe. Rolling it up more, you can just see the black plastic, but the forearms, if you want to roll up his sleeves and have those exposed, they're a really cool green color. I like him with his sleeves rolled up, like he's ready for some fisticuffs. This wrist is a little bit loose. Normally we don't really have big QC issues with Mezco, except for that one, the Wolverine saga. This is a nice coat. Real buttons so you can secure it around him. Little pockets that actually work. You can put stuff in them. Slip his hands inside. Slip a treat inside, perhaps. So he'll come with his usual Sufi turban attached. You remove that and you can see his brain meats underneath. And remove that and you can get to the oculus inside. And that can be kind of moved around and positioned. So we touched on this briefly, but part of what makes this edition unique is that it features glow in the dark parts. So I'm going to shut off my lights and see how well he glows. Oh, spooky. So you can see his head glows, this flame on the turban glows, his brain glows too, and so does the oculus. It's not as bright just because I've had his turban on for most of this time, so it hasn't been getting in as much light. But yeah, that glows really nicely. That's pretty vibrant. It shows up really easily on camera too. So just for comparison, we make things for a living here at the Weekly Allowance household. I wouldn't recommend it. Find a real job, but Patrick made these cute little mushroom guys, and they require a lot of glow powder to glow in the dark. Glow powder is pretty expensive. This was 25 cents worth of glow powder, and that might not seem like much for a little thing, but it adds up pretty quickly, especially if you factor in miscasts and stuff like that. It can get expensive. So this isn't the only thing that glows in the dark. He comes with a lot of other accessories that glow, and we will look at those in a moment, but first I kind of want to look him over and just look at articulation a little bit, and at this neck joint, which is green. The neck joint has a ton of range. You're limited a little bit by the clothes. You don't want to stress those too much, but you know, it's Mezco articulation, which isn't a bad thing. I say that like it's a bad thing. I keep saying things like they're bad things, but they're not. That's just my tone of voice, I'm sorry. Oh, a little bit of twist, but I don't want to stress it too hard. Same with the back and forth. He's got a cute little belt, nice leg movement. Straining a little bit when you try to go back. It's pretty tight in the crotch, that's what she said. Like I said, this is a little loose. We'll see. Let's just see right now if we can replace it with another hand and it'll be less loose. That one's a little better, but still not great. So in addition to his turban, it's the turban show. In addition to his turban, he'll also come with 2 alternative hats. This cute little top hat. Oh, he looks like a voodoo guy now. He looks like a Dr. Facilier. And I keep calling him and everything about him cute, but maybe that's offensive. You think this guy likes being called cute? I don't know, maybe. Maybe he longs for human affection. He also comes with this fedora, milady. He'll come with the Mantle of Madness like the other Atticus Doom did, which is basically a Cthulhu head. This one also glows in the dark. I really love this sculpt. I like it even better than the original Mantle of Madness. I just love this green hue with the light greens and the darker greens. All the paint kind of settling into the details. These cephalopod eyes. And it also glows in the dark and gives those eyes a really creepy effect. I will say that this plastic is very brittle. His tentacles feel like they just want to snap off, so be super careful. We also get mini hands. We've got grabby hands. We've got punchy hands. We've got a holding things hand and a slightly tighter holding things hand. There's also this one of my personal favorites, the Medusa hand, which is just snakes. Tiny snakes. And this time they glow in the dark. There's also this cindered palm and this flame effect. I'm not 100% sure on how to attach this to the hand, but the hand is rubbery, so that's good news. There's less room for error. It would help if this piece were rubbery too, but we can't always get what we want. Just like with the original Atticus Doom, he comes with a ring of smoke you can put around his neck. I believe the original, it was more of a dark smoke, and this is more of a white smoke. You get the Nebulous Claw, which is a spooky crab claw from an alternate dimension. And just like with the Cthulhu head, I really like the way that the green paint has settled into the crevices. It looks really cool, and it's articulated. He will come with 2 orbs of fire that can be placed within his eye sockets, in theory. A little something like that, but he'll come with 2 of those, so you can place them both in there if you so desire. Goblin Shilliga, which is basically just a walking stick with runes carved on it and a goblin head on top, and that is also glow in the dark. He'll come with yet another Book of Demonic Spells. So we have 3 of these by now. We have this one, the one that came with the first Atticus Doom release, and the one that came with the accessory pack. And just like with those, you can open this one, and there's real paper pages inside with very interesting illustrations. And I don't have the other books with me, so I can't tell you for sure, but the one that came in the accessory pack had different illustrations on the inside than the first one. So this one might also be different, but I can't tell you for sure without looking at the other 2. You'll get 2 Cthulhu faction hands, or tentacles as it were. We've got one that's already curled up and this one that can be posed. It's got a posing wire inside. I will say though that this plastic, just like with the Cthulhu head, this isn't a brittle plastic, but it feels a little fragile. A little more fragile than the other Cthulhu faction hand that came with the vanilla Atticus Doom. So I wouldn't want to pose this one too much. He'll come with all sorts of spells. He also comes with stands for attaching said spells to his wrists so he can hold these out in front of him. A really cool effect we've seen before are these portals. So you can attach these in such a way where it looks like his hand is entering one portal and then coming out of a different portal. And these I think are new. They're called, I have to look this up because I can't remember, Shackles of Hester. So you got big shackles. Oh, let me try that again. You got big shackles, you got little shackles. An Eye of Mordred, which is something else that came in the accessory pack. And someone pointed out that it can actually be placed in his eyeball. So it looks kind of like an eyeball monocle, and I think that's really cool. It hadn't even occurred to me to put that in his eye before, but Now I know. Thank you for telling me. And this is really neat. A sword and a flame effect. Now the sword is really flimsy, while this is very robust. It's hard plastic, it's heavy, but the sword slips really easily inside. It does add a lot of weight onto that, so it might want to kind of like fall over when you have it in his hand, so watch out for that. But they did the best they could to kind of balance this out with this really like paper light sword with this heavy effect. And it looks so cool. Comes with this great stand. We've got the reversal of the two appearances, the Cthulhu head and the skull head. A ton of different rods for posing, some pieces for holding up the portals, some pieces for holding up the books, just pretty much anything you would need to get any kind of pose your little heart desires. And, of course, 1/12 collective baggie for holding everything he comes with. It gets a little tight though sometimes, you know. Mezco comes with a lot of stuff. Those bags, sometimes they're not quite big enough. Not if you want to make sure that the pieces remain unscuffed. I will say that the joints on this one, at least for the wrists, are looser than in the previous release. That's a bit of a problem, especially when you want to pose him with the sword, because like I said before, the sword is heavy, and it really just wants to just kind of dip down. Not only that, but this grip is a little too loose for the sword, but it's the tightest grip he comes with. The sword just wants to kind of like fall out. So to get this in any kind of meaningful pose, I think you might want to use blue tack. Alternatively, just don't put the effect on, which is kind of a shame because the effect is what makes it cool. Otherwise, it's just a green sword. But yeah, he's really cool. I don't know if I settled on Atticus Doom being my favorite Rumble Society member, but I think I might have said that. Is that what I said? I could go back and check, but I'm not gonna. So here he is with his original release. And it really does look like this is just him day to day, which is still a bizarre appearance, and this is him stepping into the Necroverse to fight monsters and demons and stuff. Gotta meet them at the source. We also have this Doc Nocturnal with a glow-in-the-dark head. A lot of skull guys. Lots of skull guys with Mezco. That's kind of their thing, I guess. So glow-in-the-dark Doc Nocturnal and glow-in-the-dark Atticus Doom can hang out together. This one is not invited. We've also got these guys that glow in the dark. Mythic Legions HagNAR, I believe is his name. HagNAR the something or another. And Super 7's Toxic Avenger. And they're just a bunch of glow-in-the-dark boys hanging out. They're having a glow-in-the-dark party. So let's help them out by turning off all the lights. Usually when you're having a party with all your guy friends and you turn off the lights, things get a little weird. But you know, sometimes weird is good. So, likes and subscribes very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. Now, see you guys on the next one.